The gunslinger wore a beat-to-shit leather duster and a silver breastplate. Arcs of electric blue lightning sprinted over his heavy golden gauntlet, crackling with power. Moving past the hallway where I cowered, his eyes flicked toward me. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice raspy. "Dan Woodridge. From Cincinnati," I answered. The gunslinger flipped a silver metal token, a pog slammer vibrating with power, to me. "Dan Woodridge from Cincinnati. Stay back and use that. The flayed monarch will not hesitate to kill you." He turned away and refocused on the blister red. Four-armed monstrosity 60 feet away. "I just want out." The gunslinger growled at the demon. "Give me the seal and I'll fuck right off. The researcher has stifled me for too long." The monarch replied in a chorus of overlapping voices. "You want the stone. I want the gauntlet. One more step and I'll cleave you in two," the gunslinger said, raising an oversized foam anime sword. The monster crooned. "Marcus, his power is already stretched thin. I would rather drown in a pool of dog vomit than work with you." Marcus growled. "Perhaps I will grant you your wish before leaving this place." Then, in the space of an eye blink, the demon shot forward like a bullet, its blade blurring through the air. Kopesh met sword in a clap of thunder and a reverberating clang. Golden sparks and sizzling arcs of red electricity spit upward. The monstrous force of the two weapons unleashed a ripple of power that exploded outward, hitting me square in the chest like an invisible mule kick, effortlessly hurling me back down the hallway. I landed on the ground with a thud. Fueled by a surge of adrenaline, I regained my feet. I still had the slammer in my hand, and though it seemed asinine, I wasn't exactly spoiled for choices. I spiked it against the carpet like a football and belted out the words, "Let's bog." As the slammer hit, a burst of warm energy bubbled outward in a ring. Rising up around me was a golden birdcage, built from shimmering bars of light. Meanwhile, the battle between the two titans raged unabated. The flayed monarch descended upon the gunslinger with a blood-curdling screech. Its forearms were a blur of manic motion, the bone Kopesh and spinal whip lashing out in a deadly dance. The gunslinger effortlessly avoided each whip strike, ducking, sidestepping, even momentarily blinking in and out of existence while he advanced, undeterred. The foam blade in his hands was a whirlwind, and, as he moved, ghostly blue flames formed along the edge of the weapon. The gunslinger feinted left and lashed out with a quick jab, then darted right and brought the sword screaming down in a vicious arc aimed at the monarch's exposed neck. The demon turned into a fine red mist and drifted away at the last moment. The horror reformed on the opposite side of the conference room, completely unscathed by the brutal attack. It raised a hand and muttered a grating incantation. 100 crimson spears and swords appeared in the air above the demon's jagged black crown. The monarch casually flicked its wrist forward, and the conjured arsenal lurched toward the gunslinger like an artillery barrage. The gunslinger thrust his golden gauntlet out, and a blazing azure dome appeared around him, insulating him from the encroaching army of floating weapons before they could hack him to pieces. He reached out, and a small black void flashed into existence. He flung whatever he'd retrieved onto the ground outside the bounds of the blue dome. A handful of plastic green army men hit the carpet, then immediately swelled in size. Unrealistically posed army man, reporting for duty. One of the hulking figurines barked. "Defensive position B-14. The gunslinger bellowed, "Aye, sir." The rest of the troops cried in gruff unison. They formed a neat wall surrounding the exterior of the dome and began retaliating against the monarch's flying cloud of living weapons. The gunslinger blinked across the room and hurled a javelin of blue lightning from his gauntlet. The monarch was ready. The demon tossed out a plastic red Easter egg, which intercepted the incoming bolt of power. The two collided back into each other in a clash of limbs, spells, and blades. The gunslinger lifted a hand and let loose a flare of blinding light from his palm. When the burst of illumination finally vanished, I watched as he blinked through space and time once more, appearing behind the monarch with his sword already descending in an arc. But the monarch anticipated the attack and spun like a top. In one quick motion, the monster turned and drove its curved Kopesh directly into the gunslinger's guts. The weapon sliced cleanly through the warrior's armor like a scalpel, then punched out through the back. Eye-covered tentacles exploded from the walls, wrapping around Marcus and tearing him apart at the middle. Eviscerated and bleeding out, he gave me a desperate look. I picked up my slammer, deactivated the shield, sprinted forward, and hurled it onto the ground near him, screaming, "Let's pog." The dome reactivated, buying him precious time. Marcus gripped his Winnie the Pooh plushie, casting a spell that miraculously mended his shredded body. The monarch turned its wrath on me. "You should not have done that," it buzzed. "Now how's about you go fuck yourself?" I yelled, throwing my claw hammer. It bounced harmlessly off its faceplate. The demon casually raised a hand, and a crushing spiritual pressure slammed me into the floor, fracturing my bones. Suddenly, the pressure vanished. Marcus had stepped out of the dome and driven his sword clean through the demon's chest, tearing a jagged black void into its torso. "Thank you for your help, Dan Woodridge from Cincinnati," Marcus said. A bottle of Zima landed on my chest, and a brilliant flash of light consumed the room. When it faded, both titans were gone. Barely conscious, I twisted open the elixir and chugged the carbonated fluid, letting a wave of healing euphoria carry me into the dark.